Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sophie. Hi, so yeah, my name's Gareth. I am the support coordinator for the Southwest for the Spinal Injury Association. And this is the SIA Virtual Cafe for choosing a wheelchair. And with us today, we have two guests. We have Sue Harris and Monica Sampla from AJM Healthcare. And basically, they run the wheelchair services in parts of the country and will basically give us a bit of a chat about how to choose your first wheelchair, I presume. So over to you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's slightly different to that, but it is kind of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about AJM and who we are as a company and where we are and those sort of things, and a bit about wheelchairs in general. And then Monica is going to talk about personal wheelchair budgets and how to get the wheelchair that you want and what's some of the new products that are out there and available that you might be interested in. So yeah, it's very informal and very kind of, we want to give you as much information as we can. So Margaret's already said she's in Haydock. Whereabouts are other people in the country? Is anybody an AJM customer?
I'm in Lincolnshire.
Ah, so you are an AJM area person, yeah. Okay. So what I will do is hopefully share some slides. Oh no, the host disabled participant. Are you able to?
Yeah, I've just made you co-host.
There we are. Okay. I presume you'll deal with the person who wants to get in, will you? Do I need to do that as well?
No, that's fine, I've done it.
The trouble, isn't it? So we've got a few slides. So we'll take you through the slides. And then if you want to put your hand up during it, or that's the easiest way to contribute, isn't it? Or any sort of emoji type thing, or we'll take questions at the end as well. So just, can you all see that okay? Yeah. Okay, so AJM Healthcare, and we're really pleased to be here to talk to you. I know there's not many people, but we want to really get out there to talk about AJM. What we think that we do is different to other wheelchair services, and particularly talk about the personal wheelchair budgets and what you can actually achieve through personal wheelchair budgets, because a lot of people don't understand how they work. They know about the old voucher scheme, but not about the new scheme. So that's what we're mainly going to talk about this afternoon. So AJM are a company that absolutely specialise in wheelchair services. We have what's called integrated wheelchair services. So historically, a wheelchair service would be provided within the NHS, but would have what's called an approved repairer, and they tended to be the private companies, engineers mainly, that come along and do all the tweaks and mending to your wheelchair. So integrated services are where we have the wheelchair service, so provision of the wheelchair service, assessment, delivery, as well as the repair service, all on the same site, all part of the same setup. So once you meet the wheelchair service, you meet everybody that's going to assess you. We have lots and lots of clinicians, lots of therapists, clinical scientists who are involved in assessment and adjusting wheelchairs, as well as engineers, field service engineers that do repairs and also are involved in the tweaks and all the things that are needed. Around a £20 million turnover, if you're interested in that sort of thing. So a growing company, actually, very much growing. Started on the south coast in Hailsham, but now go as far north. Lincolnshire and Derbyshire are the furthest north we go. And we've got 9 services. And also a contract with the Ministry of Defence as part of their rehab centre in Loughborough. We have in excess of 75,000 service users on our books. And as well as the 9 integrated, we have 7 of the approved repairer contracts. So that's to say that's just doing the repairs. It's not actually provision of the wheelchair. I've been around for 35 years. So that's where we are. So I'm based in Derby, although I work with the whole company. I'm based in Derby, Lincolnshire, Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, which is based in Huntingdon, Milton Keynes, 3 in London, so North London, North East London and Waltham Forest, down to the south coast, Portsmouth. That's where our little, that's where we started. It's our head office in Hailsham, although we have very nice, smart new corporate offices in Milton Keynes, where the predominantly kind of the normal business you would expect out of a head office runs from Milton Keynes. And then way down there in Devon, we have the Plymouth service. Oh, do you know what? Did I do? I might have to go back, because I'll tell you why. I have to tick the box, don't I, when I share, to do video, to do sound, which I didn't do. So try again. Try now. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to show you a short video, so please shout out if there's any problems with this.
AJM is special, and that's because of the people that work here and the ethos that we have created and driven throughout the organisation. We all have the same ethics and passion for what we do. We are genuinely here to deliver the very best service we can for our service users. AJM are a GP-led provider, and we ensure that the service user and the NHS is at the heart of everything we do, with quality and continual improvement top of our agenda.
Value for money is key. Savings from integration and high recycling rates can be ploughed back into NHS services, providing a higher volume of activity for the same budget and always maintaining the highest quality.
Above all, AJM is a people business. Our people are here to help and have the knowledge and capability to respond, not just quickly, but they're also getting it right first time, and always with a smile.
Continuous improvement is a key company philosophy. It empowers every employee to contribute to our ongoing development by eliminating key traditional obstacles that could hinder growth. Ultimately, it allows us to continuously improve the quality of service.
We put our wheelchair users at the heart of our services. We literally put our heart on our sleeves. As effective system partners, we work together with our key stakeholders and service users to co-design and co-produce our services.
AJM really listened to us. The Service User Forum is vital as it gives us a voice in the development of the service.
With regular meetings and updates, I really feel involved. AJM really does listen, and they make better changes for all of us.
We've worked in partnership with the staff and the commissioners to make effective changes, like individual wheelchair passports and a standalone service website, and also an improved emergency and out-of-hours service.
I got my custom-fitted wheelchair, and now I've got the independence to go around town, or even across the world.
Our aim is to provide services that excel in meeting the needs of wheelchair users. We have fabulous members of staff who are truly dedicated to providing high quality and effective clinical services.
Having seen these services firsthand as a carer, working for the NHS and as a provider, I and many of our staff understand how these services can make a huge difference to a person's quality of life. The care that we take on delivering and improving these services is immense. Each person is real, and they all deserve a person-centred approach.
Too quick there. So partnership and engagement is what I do. Saw two of our service users there who are members of our forum. Alex is in North West London, and Isaac's actually in North East London. And Isaac is doing amazing things at the moment. He's out doing wheelchairs and skating things and all sorts. So they really do work with us, and I'm in close contact with them a lot of the time. I also look at all our survey work. So we do Lots of survey work, giving out surveys to everybody that attends the clinics. I look for themes and trends, and that feeds into the continual improvement process, so that we take things and say, right, people weren't happy with that, what should we do to make it different next time? I also work with organisations relative to the wheelchair service. So here talking to you, just over lunchtime, I was talking with a children's charity. So I go and talk to lots of people about wheelchairs and provide opportunities for people to discuss wheelchairs, potential for different types of wheelchairs, those sort of things. And we do have Facebook, Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn actually, that you can follow us and find out a little bit more about what we do. So I'm going to, at that stage, hand over to Monica.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about personal wheelchair budgets. More obviously because it's a mix of people that aren't necessarily part of our service, but I'm going to be discussing with you actually what a PWB is, how you can access one, because actually there's ways that you can access a personal wheelchair budget through your own wheelchair service provider. So just to kickstart us off, what is a PWB and how can I get one? So a personal wheelchair budget, formerly known as the voucher scheme. So it's different from the voucher scheme, but a lot of people still refer to it as the voucher scheme or know it as the voucher scheme. So I'll go through and detail exactly what the personal wheelchair budget is, or PWB as it's abbreviated to. So it was introduced as a legal requirement by the NHS England in December 2019. So it gives service users personalisation, choice and control over their mobility. So essentially what NHS England are saying is you can go to your wheelchair services and get a chair that meets all your clinical needs. But actually they are aware that there's a whole host of other equipment out there that sits outside of just that clinical need. And they've set up a process and a means for people to be able to access that equipment as well. So anybody who is entitled to a wheelchair provision through their local wheelchair service provider has a right to access a PWB. So essentially what you're saying is, if you meet the criteria for a wheelchair through your wheelchair services provider, you have the right to access a PWB. So Pwb options. So I'll just break down exactly what the options are under a personal wheelchair budget. So you've got, first off, notional. So that is straightforward NHS provision. So your wheelchair services provider will assess your needs and provide a chair which meets all of those clinical needs. So essentially what we're saying is you get referred into wheelchair services for an assessment or a reassessment. They assess your needs, they discuss a personal wheelchair budget with you, break down what all your options are, but actually for whatever reason, they show you your NHS chair and you say, actually, I really like the chair, it meets all my needs, that's the chair for me. And actually you're making an informed decision about your personal wheelchair budget. Although you're only choosing to access the NHS provision, you're still making that decision to access your personal wheelchair budget. So even if you choose your NHS provision, you're still choosing a personal wheelchair budget because you're making that informed choice. So there might be a couple of reasons why. So some people might choose it because they think it's the chair for them, it's the right chair for them, they really like the chair. It could be from a standpoint of affordability, because with personal wheelchair budget comes extra funding. So it could be from that point of view as well. So one thing to note, depending on who your wheelchair services provider is, it will determine which chairs are on offer as your NHS choice. So each wheelchair services gets to choose their own matrix chairs. So it's not directed by NHS England. So one service might have more Sunrise products, and another might lean more on Invacare products. So it very much depends on your service as to what chairs are available to you under your NHS provision. So just bear that in mind, it won't always be the same. But that essentially is what notional is. So notional is equal to your NHS provision. Next slide, please. And then you have notional combined. So your wheelchair services will assess your needs and provide you with a chair which meets those needs needs. You can add additional funds to this if there are extras you might like to add, which help you better manage your lifestyle. So essentially what we're saying is, you come into clinic, personal wheelchair budgets are discussed with you during that appointment, and actually you see the NHS chair that's on offer, you really like it, and in this instance, just off the top of my head, the chair that meets this individual's all their clinical needs is a power chair Q300. You know, it's got everything in it that meets that person's clinical needs, and actually what they've said is, I quite like going on, taking my dog for long walks at night, and obviously in the winter with it getting very dark very early, I need to get some lights put onto my chair, and also I enjoy I enjoy cooking, so I'm in the kitchen a lot, and actually I can't reach the kitchen cupboards, so I'd quite like to add a seat riser. So these products wouldn't be available as standard NHS provision, but what you can do is add these top-ups under the notional combined. So essentially what we're doing is you're taking your NHS chair and then you're adding to that. And that would be at additional funds, so either through charitable funding or self-funding. So the individual is choosing to take their NHS chair and then add to that chair to help better manage their lifestyle. So again, very much depending on your wheelchair services provider will determine what chairs are on offer to you. So the great thing about notional combined is that the servicing and maintenance is still actually managed by wheelchair services because they still own the chair. So although you're purchasing those parts to add to your chair, wheelchair services essentially still own the chair, so they would do all the servicing and maintenance to that chair. And essentially it's their chair, so after the voucher period is over, they would then take that chair back and then provide you with a new provision if that was appropriate. Next slide, please. And then you have the third party option. So essentially what this is wheelchair services will assess your needs and you'll be provided with an appropriate level of funding to meet those needs. You can then purchase a suitable wheelchair from any appropriate provider. Your wheelchair services will check before purchase that the equipment will meet your clinical needs. So what that essentially means is you come into clinic, you have your assessment, and it's deemed that a power chair meets all you meet the criteria for a power chair, and again in this instance the Q300 meets all your clinical needs. And actually you've seen the chair and what you've said is, actually I don't want any of the chairs within the NHS matrix, I want to go outside of the matrix because I've seen a Pwb F5 Corpus power chair that I really like, I've trialed it, and that's the chair for me. So what wheelchair services essentially will do, they'll make sure that the chair that you want meets your clinical needs, because that's the box they have to tick. They have to make sure that any chair you choose under third party meets your clinical needs. So they'll make sure it meets your clinical needs. If it does, they'll give it the thumbs up. And what you can do is you can actually take the value of your NHS chair. So as an example, so the value of the Q300 power chair, we would pay out that money to your third party provider. So we would contact them and pay out that money directly to them. So that's how essentially a third party works. So each wheelchair services provider might have a different process running in the background in terms of paperwork, but essentially that is what a PWB is, a third party across the board. So with third party, some people see it as a massive plus, some people not, depends on how you view third party and combined. And again, it's what works for the individual, but under third party, you are responsible for the servicing and maintenance of the chair. And essentially that is because you own the chair, it's your chair, you can do whatever you want with that chair because it's yours. The NHS are never going to take that chair back. You own it, it's yours. Even after the 5-year period, you then become eligible for a reassessment. But actually, you know, that chair is never going to be taken from you because that is your chair. So one thing that that is the plus is that it's your chair, but also you are then responsible for the servicing and maintenance of that chair under the third party, because you've privately purchased that. So there's things that individuals weigh up and they see what's best for them, and they choose the option depending on what works for best for them and their lifestyle. One of the things actually which is great under third party is even if you choose to go third party, you are still entitled to access your postural items through wheelchair services. So if you need a review of a cushion, a reassessment for a cushion, you can come straight back through to wheelchair services. So it's not a case of you access a PWB, you leave the service and you kind of go off and do your own thing. No, not at all. What that means is you can come back to the service at any point for a reassessment for any postural items. One of the other things to mention is that a PWB is benched at 5 years for an adult and 3 years for a children. But actually each case is individual and it's reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So if you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years into your personal wheelchair budget, you have to have surgery or your clinical needs change or something changes, you can come back to the service and start the process again. So you would have an assessment. They would say, actually, this chair is no longer meeting your needs for whatever reason. Would you like 1 to go with notional, 2 to go with combined, or 3 to go with third party? So it just kickstarts the process again. So people often, you know, worry that if they take a personal wheelchair budget, that they're stuck with that chair for 5 years, no matter what happens to them. That's not the case. If your clinical needs change, or if the chair becomes broken beyond economical repair, you then just get another reassessment and it kickstarts the process again. So you're not just stuck with whatever provision you go with for 5 years. That's not the case. But that in a nutshell is the options under your personal wheelchair budget. So it very much depends on what works for the individual and what sort of funding as well that they have available to them and what they want to achieve from their mobility as well. Next slide, please. So what AJM Healthcare do differently? So we are quite different in how we run personal wheelchair budgets. One of the things that springs to mind, speaking to a lot of other services, is that we actually have a dedicated PWB team, which doesn't seem kind of that out of the ordinary, but when it comes to wheelchair services, it is actually quite different. So although personal wheelchair budgets was something that was introduced as something that services had to run, they weren't given any additional funding to run this service. So it's all integrated through wheelchair services. But what we've got is a dedicated PWB team. So we've got somebody who, myself, I'm the PWB manager, so I oversee the department. We've got somebody who oversees the clinical side of things, so they'll do all the assessments, making sure that equipment is appropriate and right for the individuals that they're choosing to move forward with. And then we've got an individual that would deal with all the admin and the paperwork and just making sure that everything is being processed. So a small team, but we're able to help facilitate PWBs across all of our services, as opposed to letting them run through the service. So one of the things that has come off the back of that is that we're really very much at the forefront of promoting PWB. So we're really active in promoting the service and everybody being aware of what their options are. So we created a brochure that's available on all of our AJM sites, which is actually made up of 2 parts. So you've got the information part of the brochure that gives people all the information they need on what a PWB is, frequently asked questions so they can get a real understanding of what a personal wheelchair budget is and what they can achieve from it. But also we have an actual document as well that comes with the is a pull-out product. Is a product brochure. So actually what that does is it allows people to have a look and get a feel for what equipment is out there and what they might be able to achieve from their personal wheelchair budget. We've also updated any appointment letters and trained customer services team across our depots just to have a little bit of a knowledge on what personal wheelchair budgets are. So when somebody calls the service and says, actually, I've heard about this PWB, or what is it, they're able to signpost people to the correct areas. So mainly signposting people back to us so they can discuss personal wheelchair budgets, or they can give somebody a little bit of information on what a personal wheelchair budget is. So one of the things we've been really hot on is ensuring that meaningful conversations are taking place on PWBs during assessment appointments. So it's just making sure that people are aware of what their options are, so they themselves can make an informed decision on how they want to move forward with their mobility. So we have, like I said, the team that we have is on hand to provide information and support, not only to our own clinical teams but also to our service users. We can offer information on a really large range of a large set of product ranges, and we can offer demonstrations of products as well. Next slide, please. So what AJM can offer you. So AJM Healthcare can offer third-party equipment. So what essentially you can do, or anybody can do across the UK, is they can come and spend your wheelchair voucher with us. So whoever you're associated with within your wheelchair services, whether you're part of AJM or outside of AJM, you can actually spend that wheelchair services voucher with us. So essentially what that means is all the same rules apply under your third party. But there's a couple of benefits with spending your voucher with us, in that we have really good relationships with multiple suppliers, so we're able to offer discounts on the products that we offer. So we could anything that we're able to get a discount on from our supplier, we're able to offer that on to the service user. We can offer support in choosing the right products to suit both your clinical and lifestyle needs. So because we have one of our team members, Joseph, who's actually worked not only in the retail industry but the NHS industry for a long number of years now, he has such a vast product knowledge range on lots of different products. So he's not just well versed in the NHS but also in the retail sector, so he's able to offer a lot of support to help an individual make the right choice for them in terms of not just their clinical needs but also what they require out of their lifestyle needs as well. So we can set up an assessment and a demonstration of the product just to make sure that it's the right fit for you, you're happy with the product, and you're really confident in the choices that you're making. So that's something that we're able to offer people outside of AJM as well. Next slide, please. So one of the things we've seen is a massive demand for powered attachments. So one of the things that we're able to do, like I said, we've got Joseph, who's part of our team, who's worked in the retail industry for a long number of years now. So he has a lot of knowledge on lots of different products. So we're able to offer demonstrations on a wide range of powered attachments. So this is completely outside of personal wheelchair budgets, because essentially what this is, sorry, is a private sale. So it's a case of going, actually, I really would like that equipment to attach to my chair, or I'd really like that mobility equipment. And actually, how do I know that what I'm getting is the right fit for me? It will be compatible with my chair. It's safe. Well, actually, that's where we can come in and make sure that all of those boxes are ticked off. So one of the things we've noticed that actually since lockdown measures have started to ease, there's a really high demand for these products. People just want to get out and about there, so essentially what we thought is just making sure that to go a bit further, actually, instead of just looking at what people want for their chairs, actually what do they want as powered on attachments? What do they want, hand bikes, and there's lots of other products out there that people want to suit their lifestyle, and we have the means to facilitate that. So that's something that anybody can come to us at any point and say, actually, I'd quite like to have a demo of this product, and we can arrange that. So there's a couple of really popular products on the screen here. So we've got the Smart Drive, which is a powered add-on from a manual chair. Essentially, it attaches to the back of a manual chair, making it into a powered provision, and it's actually controlled by that E2 push tracker watch that you see there. So you tap the watch to go forward, and it's just an amazing piece of kit. And that's there on the left hand side at the top. So the Smart Drive is a really popular product we've seen people really interested in. So just next to that in the middle there, you've got the TGA Power Pack. Again, really popular products that, you know, just at the moment, just people are just trying to really get their hands on. Essentially, this is a power pack that takes the strain out of pushing. So if you're a carer or care for somebody, you know, and you yourself suffer from mobility issues, or actually the person who's in the chair is a lot larger than what you are and a lot heavier, this actually takes the complete strain out of pushing them in their chair, even if you live in a hilly area, that sort of thing. So there's a real popular demand for that. And then you can see across from that in the right hand top corner there, you've got the Alba powered wheels. So essentially this changes a manual chair into a powered provision, and essentially with a really easy quick push of a button, you can attach and detach these powered wheels onto a manual chair. So a really fantastic product that, again, just so much demand for at the moment with people wanting to get out and about. Underneath that, you've got just the M-Pulse at the bottom there on the right-hand side, the M-Pulse F55, which is the hand bike. And actually what we've seen is this is quite a good value for money compared to other powered products. So some powered add-ons can be quite expensive, and what we've found is this is really popular because it's actually quite good value for money, essentially again turning your manual chair into a hand bike, and giving it that powered provision there. And then at the bottom there on the left hand side, not a powered attachment, but actually some really popular product is loop wheels. So some wheels there you can see at the bottom, they come in lots of different colors, but actually they're great for shock absorbance and suspension, and lots of really fantastic benefits. Really popular product as well, in upgrading people's wheels to the loop wheel range as well. So again, just lots of products out there, and a really big demand for these products at the minute. So if anyone was interested, or you knew somebody who was interested in accessing these, certainly put them onto us, and we can help make sure that they, one, get the right product for them, but also making sure that it's compatible and safe as well for them, is something that we're able to help facilitate people with at the moment. Next slide, please.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's it really. If anyone's got any questions, and our contact details are there if anyone wants to jot those down and contact us at a later stage as well.